Good morning. Well, it might not be morning for you, it's morning for me right now. I'm just doing the sourdough loaf. It is Saturday. It's still January, if you can believe it. It's definitely the longest month ever. Even though it isn't actually, there's plenty of months that go to 31. For some reason. Yeah. The state of that sourdough, it's completely just lost all of its shape, so I had to completely reform it and then just cook it, and it was really imperfect. It was quite a dense loaf, but it was fine. It was absolutely fine. It was still edible, still nutritious. It just isn't winning any bake-off awards anytime soon. So anyway, most of this video is just going to be us going through our garden. We really needed to just sort of walk through it and sort of plan what was going where and just sort of give a bit of a January update for ourselves, really. So I'm really looking forward to doing this every month. That's sort of the aim. At some point, hopefully every 4 to 5 weeks, we will update the garden and with what we're doing and stuff like that. Definitely not any sort of how-tos happening right this second, but just sort of sharing our process and our progress with it, really. I drew up the plans, which you will see later on. I did speed it up, obviously, because it took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours to draw it out. I did it on the tablet, and it was really enjoyable. I got the tablet for Christmas, so I've been using it constantly. Anything that I can do with it, I will be doing with it. So I drew up our garden plan, and it's really lovely. I keep looking at it, feeling really quite excited about the year ahead and all the things that we're going to get up to. So, yeah. So one of the things that I spoke about here before, and one of our aims, is to sort of show the process of, we're trying to live as well as we can with what we have. And we have these goals, but we're just trying to sort of do what we can to achieve them, but also live in a way as if we already have achieved them, I guess. And to be able to do that requires a lot of very conscious sort of action from us, a lot of conscious choice. Most of the time, most of us are just sort of on autopilot, and to get out of that, it's sort of very well known that you have to sort of make these steps, these leaps of faith, if you will. And whilst I feel like overall that's a really good thing, I feel like there can also be a bit of a negative aspect to it too. And there seems to be a lot of emphasis on this, on how we have to make it all work for us, and it's all our fault, and everything's our problem, and blah blah blah. And I struggle with this, because I feel like we're all a product of our environment, and I feel like we're being pulled in so many directions. I mean, everything around us has been created and has been sort of sold to us in a way, and it's more rampant now than ever. Everything you come across online is vying for your attention. It's trying to make money off of you. Any problem that you have, there's something that says it will fix it. If you've got dry skin, there'll be a moisturizer that will fix it. If you've got heartburn, there's this product that will fix it. If there's nothing wrong with you at all, it's like, well, hang on a minute, don't you want to be this person? And there's always something that's just trying to take your money, but also just hijack your thoughts. And I actually think that's worse in a way, to be honest. Completely worse than just having someone try and sell you something. It feels so much more shady. But to go back to what I was saying about choice, I've been thinking a lot about how some of the choices that I make day to day sort of have this ripple effect. I've noticed, there'll be a choice that I will make, and it will be, I'm not going to clear up off the kitchen tonight because I'm so tired and I just can't be bothered. I'm just going to sit. There's going to be something that will stop me doing it. And there's this sort of balance to be struck between saying, do you know what, it's totally fine, because of course it's fine that you don't clear the kitchen one night. Of course, and really, who cares? In the grand scheme of things, you can just pick it up tomorrow and that's fine. And there's this balance between saying it's fine, and then also between noticing that the next day, the whole day might actually be directed because of that choice. So the next day, the breakfast won't be as nutritious, for example, because the kitchen will be such a state that I will end up just giving them cereal which I never like doing. Or sometimes I'll end up just not eating anything the whole day because of that. Because the thought of having to go and clear the kitchen before doing it is just too much. And I know that sounds a bit over the top, but these are sort of things I've noticed. These are real things that have happened that have sort of stopped me in my tracks. But yet there's this balance to be struck, and I feel like it's a really, really hard line. And the other thing is, I think we need to have compassion for ourselves and realise that we are being pulled in all these different directions and we are being manipulated so often, and it's just a really hard thing. We're also still multifaceted, really complex human beings who fluctuate in emotion and mood and energy levels, and so sometimes we're going to make better choices or worse choices just depending on that itself. But at the same time, I really want to have autonomy over my own choices, and I want to be able to make choices that are mine and not always based off of exactly how I'm feeling in that moment, but maybe more based off the fact that there is a future tomorrow. It isn't just all about giving in to whatever you're feeling at that moment. One of the things I always think to myself when I'm looking for some sort of motivation to do something that I really don't want to do is to be your future friend. And I feel like that applies to like all areas of life. It's not just about telling myself, right, do this now so you don't have to do it tomorrow. It's about what's the best choice right now to sort of take me to where I want to be, to where we want to be. And let's be honest, that's a really, really hard thing to do when most of our lives are sort of lived on autopilot, like I said earlier, and we're creatures driven by the desire for certainty, for quick gratification, especially in this day and age. It's really hard. It's all about finding this balance, and I don't feel like it's ever fully found, but I feel like the pursuit of that balance is still really, really worthwhile. And somehow I feel like all of this is really relevant to the journey that we are sharing on here, which is the journey to sort of living as if we've already achieved all of these things that are really important to us. So anyway, I'll stop yabbering. Here's our garden tour. So have you just, these are all been potted on?
No, these are just the old tomato buckets. Yeah, the old tomato buckets. All I've done is reuse some of the wood chip that was in some of them because they weren't all covered, and put a bit of bloodfish and bone in. I'm just going to put the willow cuttings in them.
Oh, is that what they are?
Can't really start growing the willows out there, but I'd like to have like, I don't know, like mother trees, kind of like these ones here.
Where'd you get these pots from?
They're the ones we had the tomatoes in.
These green ones?
Yeah, they're just buckets.
Is that what we had our tomatoes
We were
in?
growing the tomatoes, cucumbers, and cucamelons in some of them.
Oh, don't remember them being green.
Yeah, we had them stacked. I had some of them stacked like one on top of the other like that.
Oh, well. Okay, that's probably why.
Like, you can see the roots obviously growing into the one below it. They're not like, obviously it'll be quite depleted compost in there now, but a little bit of bloodfish and bone, it'll be fine. Because I can't grow trees in them forever. But if I get them to this size, like you can get kind of cuttings off of them.
Yeah.
But I've lost the names for all them.
Oh well.
Because I just randomly dug them out when we moved. I didn't really plan it. And when I planted them there, I just planted loads of cuttings. I didn't really label anything. So I've got these ones.
Well, they're the new ones.
Yeah, that I'm actually going to label.
You say that, we'll lose the labels, you always do.
Yeah, I know.
To identify them in years to come by the leaf and the bark.
Maybe take a photo of them with the labels on before.
Are they all different varieties?
Yeah. I've just gone for like basketry or floristry types. Actually, quite hard to see where the buds are on that one. They're pointing up that way. The other thing as well is, I don't know, I quite like the little trees in pots. Like if we didn't have space, I'd probably do that anyway. Have little trees in pots and then like flowers on the bottom. Because you've got like oxeye daisies and that one's called feverfew on the bottom.
Yep.
And as I'm planting them, I'll split that clump and just put some in each pot as well.
Cool.
And remember, there's bulbs under here. There's all those Spanish bluebells.
Yeah, they're starting to come up already.
Starting to come up. So I think this area obviously like it's doing something in the spring, and then it's not doing much in the summer when they die off.
We've never really used this area, have we? Really much. It's just sort of been a
I don't do the seedlings over here because
the wind.
I can't get the water to them.
Oh, okay, yeah, and the wind. It's like definitely the windiest side of the house.
Yeah, it's fairly sheltered down here at plant level though. But the wind probably makes them die out more as well. I could just get a longer hose, to be fair.
You could. We probably should.
Because it is actually a good little sun trap as well, despite the wind. It is quite a good. Have you seen that back pot as well? There's little peas. I don't know why, but there's peas growing in it.
In where?
That big tub at the end. I've left it there. I'm gonna put some sticks in and just try and climb the peas up the wall.
Just try and let them. Is that peas?
You see them?
Yeah. Strange, isn't it? I think maybe there's someone's chucked a pea pod or something in there.
There's loads of different like curly types of willow in this mix as well.
Nice.
So I thought they're quite good floristry or like dried flower arranging. Or
Yeah.
Harry Potter ones, whatever we're doing with them. Like red curly. To be honest, I'd rather know what its Latin name is or what hybrid it is.
Will they not have that information?
I'm sure I'll be able to find that out.
Yeah.
The plan for this bit is to put more flowers in, because it's a flower bed. And I'll bring it to you, don't worry. They don't look like much. They don't look like much, but there's some teasels there that come up.
I love a teasel.
And I think still, they might just be big enough, they might still flower. Like they're biennial.
What, this year?
I planted them last year, but they might...
Oh, hang on, let's pause that.
They might still flower if we put them in. They might just flower a bit later than they usually would. As long as we can give them a good start to put them in so they don't get frosted or something. Have to time it. So I was thinking of putting them in here, just bulking that out a bit.
There was quite a few gaps here last year.
Most of the gap was here. I mean, you look at it now, it doesn't look like there's anything going on, but
I know.
There's a yarrow in here that will take over. I think it will kind of fill that corner out.
You can still see it from last year.
Again, you're really going to have to look at this with an eye of imagination.
Yeah.
There's that one there, that's a dandelion, but that's a woad. There's that one there. I think there's a third one in here somewhere.
I think there is, yeah.
That bit last year was quite bare, but there's still the alkanet, the dyer's alkanet. That's coming back.
There.
So
Is that foxglove?
Yeah, and then this bit here that was quite... I dug it over and it didn't really recover very well. There's a big patch of foxgloves there, so I'm probably going to weed some foxgloves out where we don't want them and just keep them in the middle there. And then there's like oxeye daisies, and we'll stick calendula in.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, the anemone, Japanese anemone, that's really...
I'd like to get some of the pink one that I saw in those people's gardens last year.
I'll get a pattern off some of this and on the spot. And then obviously for Cosmia, again, at this time of year it's just left to structure for
habitat.
Yeah, and I think it's good because it isn't just like, it is quite varied. I'm not an invertebrate, so I can't comment, but this is the time of year you can see where the ajuga is and the sprite, the kind of lower ground cover. I like the Shasta daisy.
Yeah, the scruffy daisies I call them.
And there's the goat's beard, you can just see the stems of it. So this whole area is already full up, there's nothing really in here. And then here is strawberries with the blue-green alkanet, and we just try and control the blue-green alkanet. And
the fireweed.
Yeah, and the fireweed, and really try and promote the strawberries. But it's a good patch.
Do you think we'll get more strawberries on the other patch this year?
I think so. There's quite a good few 2-year-old plants on here as well.
No.
Not yet.
Okay, what about this bit then? Obviously the honeysuckle's here to stay.
I don't think there's much to do here. The honesty's seeded anyway.
Yeah.
So if that's all honesty, then I'm happy. I was hoping the forget-me-not would reseed. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. It's not like forget-me-not to just... Again, there's foxgloves appeared at the back, so we'll leave them in.
The artichoke's back.
I might move the ones at the back of the artichoke to there where there's a space. Probably at some point you'll want that dealt with. It's just...
Oh, I don't like it. It's this massive... I like them when they're in flower, but they're only in flower for like a week, literally 1
Well, I
week.
think at some point, because this berberis...
It's taken up so much space.
This is the berberis that I've had from Dundee that I brought up.
Really?
It's
Oh,
been in
wow.
pots, it's always suffered, but it's finally in the ground and doing
Yeah.
well. So I'd maybe like to move that to there anyway, so it's away from this shrub. I think it would look better. Give it a bit of space.
You'll be back soon.
And the mugwort, so it's all kind of... There's just
Mugwort
a gap
will
there.
come back. That's the... What's that one?
That's hydrangea, isn't it?
Hydrangea, yeah. Only got 2 flowers on it last year, though. Apparently, not. I was speaking to someone else. Their hydrangeas didn't do very well last year.
No. I'm not an expert on them, but they used to do well in like woodland gardens that I've worked in.
Yeah.
And this is all just fruit, raspberries.
Raspberry canes.
And again, I'd like to try and promote these strawberries.
Yeah.
These are from the old house in the old.
Are they? Oh, nice.
They're the ones we had in that planter. With the grapevine.
We were given those, weren't we?
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
This will all just fill up. The strawberries that I put in here are taken now. It's just a case of weeding around them and letting them kind of spread. Again, I think maybe there's space for another row of raspberries in here.
Yeah.
But I think the mistake I've made over there is maybe it's better to let the strawberries
Take over a little
have
bit.
a bit of time first.
Yeah, I think so.
Because remember, this was all nasturtium.
Yeah.
There was nothing in here, so we couldn't even see these
Borage.
strawberry plants. But they'd managed to root in there in amongst all that still.
What about this one? I've got a patch of onions.
Yeah, just dotting stuff in. These are all just gooseberries, and the honeyberry in front of me here.
Yeah.
Maybe the one closest to you is a blackcurrant actually, but the rest are gooseberries. Either some of them are thornless or all thornless. That was it. I read thornless gooseberry and thought maybe it'd be quite interesting to try. Mole's been in the garden.
Of course it has. Oh, yeah.
Big time. Oh, it spared the garlic. Because it's come very close.
Yeah. Bloody nearly in the beds, isn't it?
So the mole's decided...
It has over there in the beetroot.
Yeah,
you can
it's
see
decided it's not going to be fully no-dig. It's gonna bring up a few weed seeds anyway.
That's okay, though. Moles are welcome. Is that another one there?
Yeah. Looks like it's been to town in here. Good though. I suppose there's stuff in the soil for it to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all the... I mean, in terms of what we're doing, I think we want peas on the end now where the cabbages are. We'll rotate everything that way.
This was all squash, wasn't it, and pumpkin.
Yeah.
We didn't got hardly anything off it, really. It was like over, you know.
So it'll be peas... No, sorry. There'll be onions in this one. I think maybe... I don't know. Maybe put the cabbages in this one or the brassicas this year.
So brassicas, onions.
Alliums, yeah, onions, leeks. So I think maybe we're going to need to put some onions in this one too. I don't think there's going to be enough space.
What about...
We didn't do garlic last year.
No, we didn't.
And we did a whole bed of onions.
Well, we've got the other 2 beds though.
Yeah.
That we started off.
So that'll be that. There'll be some onions in there. That one will be beetroots.
Beetroot.
Maybe because it's gone from onion to beetroot, we probably should put some, not manure now, we'll get manure in, but some compost or something.
Cool.
Or actually, maybe do the roots in there, the carrots. Yeah.
Carrots and beetroot.
And stuff like that, yeah. No, I think, yeah.
What about this one? I'd like to do more kale.
Yeah.
I prefer kale to cabbage.
That one's peas and beans.
Peas and beans. Okay. Oh yeah, the brassicas are over that way.
I think, yeah, the brassicas will do more kale.
And then potatoes are going to go over to the
Yeah,
other non-dig beds we've started outside of the walled garden.
The is at the end. I just put a random row of potatoes at the end. It obviously just seems like a total mess, but I've just left it for the winter. But I'm just going to put a raised bed.
Oh, this little bit, yeah.
And that's going to be where I'm going to put the sandy soil in, and have a kind of more specialised herb bed.
Okay.
Not herbs like mugwort that will grow in the slightly less grey areas, or mint or something. Like really specialised, some of the stuff you had like clary sage, and maybe try and have it and build a raised bed so I can actually put something over it in the winter. I'm really worried we're going to stand on them by accident though. See the other one there?
Yep.
Because I'll be honest, I've never bought rhubarb like that where it was just one root. Like I've always, been given it at the allotment or something, and you get given like a big clump and you maybe divide it into 3, but it's still a big mesh of roots, and you just try and get rid of the old rotten stuff and plant the fresh. I've never planted one singular like parsnip root of rhubarb.
Yeah, I think I said that when you were putting them
Yeah.
in. I was like, I didn't expect it to look like that because I think I've always just seen people
Just
like
the
split
top,
them.
like the
Yeah.
octopus, you know. So yeah, that's good.
Well, 2 have survived.
Yeah,
Probably more.
that's a proper no ditch bed, and that one too. But
Yep.
I haven't actually done this. I've just started chucking stuff on it, but I haven't put any card down or anything there, and I didn't really have enough material, so it's obviously not controlled the grass. Whereas that actually was over
There's
the
a
course
proper
of the
one,
year,
yeah.
kind
Of those put in their
raspberry
raspberries.
cakes.
More rasps. What about this one? This was carrots that we put in. Carrots did really well, to be honest. There's probably still some in there.
There's still, where the fork is, there's still one load to get out.
Right, yeah.
And then there's the potatoes here. This is really the bit I wanted to get some manure in, to be honest. Just kind of...
So are we going to do that potatoes again this year?
No.
No.
I'll do that one potatoes.
Okay. What are we doing now?
2 potatoes actually. And then I was just going to try, we can try carrots in here, we can try something else. I'm really just trying to see what crops will grow.
What was the stuff we used to grow at the allotment? It was a root.
Artichoke?
No, it was like a root. We used to put it in stew and I roasted them and they were actually quite nice.
Turnips?
Chilean something? Chilean guava?
Oca?
Oca! Chilean guava.
Try them.
I've just, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Do you think it would work here?
Maybe while we're doing the potatoes, just do one row of them.
Oca. Yeah, you didn't, I don't know, I've not seen that in ages.
No.
But they weren't actually
really
too
nice
bad.
plants as well, and you can eat the leaves and yeah.
Potatoes. Roots.
And these are going to be no dig fruit bed.
No dig fruit.
Bottom bed is just going to be dried flowers, just so I wanted to see it.
Okay, cool.
They're basically like smaller versions of what I'd like to do as ventures at some
What have you
point.
put in there? Wheat?
So we've got wheat, so for the dried flower heads, and barley. I've got a row of honesty, which has actually come up really, I don't think it's going to make it, but
You see it, yeah.
It's not dead.
Just. I mean, we don't like bare soil, that's the thing.
No. I don't really, and once it's established, I don't really want to keep disturbing it, but we would have to do it if we're doing annual cut flowers.
Yeah.
Right at the end there, it's I'm just going to stick a mint in or something, just because it's really quite poor.
Rocky.
The drainage gets quite bad there, it's quite wet. So.
Did you put the rocks in there?
Yeah, just to mark out where it gets really shit.
Okay. You can see it in the field, it's always really boggy, that bit of the field as well.
I do think we should add 3 more beds though. Yeah, up there.
Yeah, to expand this part of the garden.
I don't want to go too much closer to the tree, so I might move them over that way, or have 2 more, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to hit roots where I was even there.
Yeah,
you look at the
I can imagine.
The roots going to be there.
Beautiful tree.
I'm going to put the compost underneath that tree, the compost heap. I'm worried it's going to root up through it, because it did that on our other compost heap.
Yeah, it did.
It was not a massive problem.
No, it's fine.
Because we will actually be using it, and it's not going to sit.
I think the good thing about it being there is that you'll get all the leaf naturally will go into the compost, and it helps.
It's a good place for me to dump a load of grass trimmings though.
Yeah.
The one I've made isn't going to be big enough, but my plan is to make 2 or 3 smaller ones out of pallets. So at least I've got one
molds
ready to go.
So that was just sort of an overview of what was a lot longer. Obviously had to edit some of it properly. But yeah, we basically got our plan for the garden, so now I'm drawing it out and I'm really hoping we stick to it. I found it really useful drawing it out, and I had to keep going back and sort of referring back to the garden and things. But yeah, it's exciting. Another full growing year. Got so much to learn, so much to do. But yeah, here's to it. It's one of those things I think it feels really, really impossible come January that suddenly all of this will exist again. I was looking at photos on my phone and was just like, wow, the garden was in bloom. But yeah, it's all come back around, and I just think it's a really exciting thing, and it's a real big privilege to have a garden. It isn't lost on me even now. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. And I keep promising that more interesting content will come, but I guess we're actually just quite boring. And that's fine. Anyway, take care. Bye.